they never adapted to the tourism part of it, where they wanted to learn English. They had to cater to a tourist industry. Taiwan is never, as you know, on top of some tourism list at all in that case. Thailand is. That's why Thai people know how to communicate well in their dialect of English. For any Asian country for that matter, Taiwan is never a name that pops up. It's not the first name that comes on the list. So how did you end up going to Taiwan? It was purely because एक दिन मेरे inbox में एक email आया था asking me to join an influencer trip. Anyway, उसका invitation आया था along with 9 other people from different parts of India. This was courtesy of Roxanne. I remember she had put my name on the list saying कि ये YouTube videos अच्छे बनाता है करके इसको देख लो करके, So I think they shortlisted me. Like you said last time, generally it's you plan your itinerary in advance. So how did you come up with the itinerary for this? Or? No, so because it's a fam trip or influencer trip, they already had, of course this was in association with Taiwan Tourism Bureau India and Taipei or Taiwan locally. ये 6 days का trip था, if I'm correct, 6 or 7 days, 7th day return था. This time it was focused around their island, which is a main island attached to the mainland. It's called Penghu Islands, Penghu, Penghu Island. It's made up of multiple islands. If I'm correct, it's called archipelago. 4 days in Penghu and 1 day in Taipei. 2 more cities, Hualien and Yilan, and of course our last day, the flight back also was on the same day as we were checking out from Yilan. 6 days ka tha trip, which I ended up extending on my own. I paid for my own expenses on that trip after the 6th day. Over there, what are the plan there, like visiting wise, or where all did you guys go basically? I think after landing, we straight away had gone to this one Lungshan temple in Taipei, which is very close to where our accommodation tha. Of course, the highlight of that day was going to Taipei 101, which is the 6th or the 7th tallest tower or so. We went right up to that top floor, saw the city in the evening and all. And they had everything planned out for a Indian dinner, which I totally refused. Ended up going to Din Tai Fung that night along with 2 other people. That was first night, and second night onwards we were straight into Penghu because the rest of the activities and everything was planned in Penghu Island. So if you see the map, Penghu is on the west side. It's a separate island very close to China. Penghu itself has multiple islands floating around. So those are all part of Penghu ka archipelago. And the main peninsula is what is Taiwan made up of. So Penghu is the island and Magong city is the actual township or the airport or the capital in that case, if I'm correct. So how is it compared to Taipei basically? Worlds apart. I haven't been to many islands in my life, but like Taipei is more or less like what Bangkok is or Kuala Lumpur is or what Tokyo would be, Penghu on the other line, I figured out कि यहाँ पे सब कुछ जल्दी बंद होने वाला है. 7:30 के बाद में खाना नहीं मिलता था. Restaurants used to shut at 7:30. 9:30 बजे अगर किसी को बियर पीना है, किसी को स्नैक्स खाना है, किसी को कुछ भी खाना है, anything that you need to buy, 7-Eleven is the option in that case. What all did you guys do in Penghu? Penghu में हमने क्या किया? Penghu में so first day dinner was amazing because there were 2 tables, one for veg and one for non-veg. Not that Southeast Asian लोगों को non-veg क्या है समझ में आता है, because they always say what is non-veg, what do you mean by non-veg, because for them even a pork broth is vegetarian as long as उसके अंदर vegetarian खाना है. Because of course it's an island, so seafood is going to be the main centerpiece in all of your dinner, which was the case almost every day. Otherwise Penghu में next day हम लोग तो वहाँ से check out करके we had gone to this oyster farm, it was called, and believe it or not हम लोग ने वहाँ पे they said कि you can just take out an oyster and just eat as many as you want, as long as you're in this farm you can eat it for free. तो वो experience किया. वहाँ से we had gone to this beach which is a part of the main archipelago only. It's called Aimen Beach, AIMEN. So evening we did some water sports over there. We walked all along the beach. पूरा beach पे हम लोग ही थे शायद से. And उसके बाद में next day I think we had gone to this island called Chime, which is Qimei. Chime is almost like a 1 hour boat ride from the main island of Penghu. And next day हम लोग गए थे other part of Penghu again, did see couple of temples, some old villages we had seen, some Han dynasty ka villages were there. From there we again came back for some barbecue dinner that night, and next day we had to leave.
So where did you guys go after Penghu Island?
पंगू के बाद में हमारा प्लेन उड़ के आ गया वापस ताइपे पे. ऑफ कोर्स वी हैड टू कम बैक टू द मेनलैंड, एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई रियलाइज दैट हाउ ग्रेट ऑफ अ place Taipei is in terms of the Taipei main train station building. Different layers have different layers of connectivity: metro, intra-rail, inter-rail, metro and whatnot, you know, bus hai, all of these things. So it's so fascinating that you can go anywhere in the country using that one building. We were going to Hualien, which is mostly like an industrial port, and the best part is just on the periphery of the city is where a lot of big whales and dolphins are spotted.
Wow!
And next day we were off to, we went to Taroko National Park, and it goes through this valleys and also quite a scenic drive in that case. जहाँ पे हम लोग ने बहुत ही traditional lunch we had in terms of bamboo rice that was served inside the bamboo. There were very few things, but there were very unique things that we had that day. And next day we ended up coming further up closer to Taipei, which was Yilan. Yilan is famous for his spring onion plantation, so we went there, did some plucking of green onions, and I learned over there that in Taiwan a spring onion is one of the most expensive commodities. And next day we were back to Taipei airport for our flight back, which I didn't take, of course, and I extended it.
So now since you're on your own, so what was your like agenda, or you know, what was the plan, like traveling and all of it? What was the scene?
Taipei was a great just experience in terms of extending my stay, and by going on a bicycle and experiencing local breakfast, which I had done on the second day. I think I took out the bicycle and I started cycling कि कहीं पे local breakfast मिल जाए करके, you know, and I seen a place on Google Map, and upon reaching there I realized there was a long queue, and the breakfast place was on the first floor and queue was outside the building 1 block turn तक. तो 3-4 options ही थे, but I'm very sure that they do their food really well, that you can buy the Chinese donut stick, you can buy omelette with sesame bread, and you can buy soya milk, which you have option of sweet and salted. That was one of the most memorable memories that I have of a meal or a single meal from Taiwan, you know, apart from some of the great meals that we also had in Penghu. तो वो मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा रहा है, you know.
So I guess you really enjoyed your time in Taiwan. So
Yes.
like the key question then, when are you planning on visiting Taiwan again?
Because of COVID, Taiwan was shut for tourism for the last 2 years. But also this whole looming cloud over Taiwan always is that they do not have great relations with China, or vice versa. China does not have great relations. I can talk about how much knowledge I have from that trip, that they want to be called as Taiwanese people and not Chinese people. Of course, ethnically they are immigrated from there, but उनकी भी एक identity है, you know. Of course, that this is causing that forever tension cloud over Taiwan, and that is one thing that I always think about कि अभी situation कैसा है, no? Can I go there?
Thailand and everything, Malaysia, there is language might not be a barrier, but Taiwan obviously is an unknown thing. So was there that communication gap, or how was it there?
I think मैं इसको ना 3 talk में can break this down. One is, of course, because to sustain you need money, so I'll talk about currency. I'll talk about language, of course, and that will also link me to the people over there. Purely currency wise, new Taiwanese dollars is more or less on the same territory as what Malaysian ringgit या तो currently what Thai baht is. Language was not, I wouldn't say issue, but मैंने ये डिस्कस किया था with somebody at my hostel. I think I had spoken to one of the receptionists and I asked her that why is it so difficult to get a point across in English, even to the youngsters. So what she told me was that right now this is her perspective. That does not mean that this is entire Taipei or Taiwan's perspective, but she said that they never adapted to the tourism part of it where they wanted to learn English. They had to cater to a tourist industry. Taiwan is never, as you know, on top of some tourism list at all in that case. I think people are very much hospitable as any other Southeast Asian country, just that the language barrier की वजह से probably ये हो जाता होगा that they may come across as little not so open to you, obviously because it's awkward for them also कि पता नहीं ये क्या बोल रहे हैं, and for me it's like why is it so hard to get a point across, As of today, if you were to ask me, I think I would go back to Taiwan in a heartbeat. It's just being gone there once, it is one of my top destinations, honestly.